Well, good morning, and we began today, instead of looking at the headlines at 8:30, we had our two Bs, the two barristers, on discussing some intricacies of the legal system, which I hope you find interesting. And indeed, their somewhat quirky sense of humor fits in very nicely with the quirky nature of this station, this channel. You're watching Mirador Television, emanating from the White Hart Hotel in Lewes, East Sussex, right opposite to the Crown Court. And we're going to now take a look at the headlines, as we normally do, and see what on earth is cooking around the world. The I paper comes up first. The UK warns new rules needed to tame A1. And we have to really watch out because those are Triffids. And the Triffids took over the world in the 1950s through an author, a science fiction author, called John Wyndham. And it was only a stroke of luck that we managed to wrest control back from the Triffids, but we didn't actually destroy them. They've been lurking and hiding in the hedgerows and so on, waiting for mankind to make a mistake. And now, as we've been saying for some time, authority has decided that it's going to take some notice of what we've been saying, and that is that there is a fear about A1, artificial intelligence, and whether, in fact, we can control it, and what the danger is if we can't. That fills the most headlines this morning, and it says the newspaper, which is the I, is one of a number leading on Rishi Sunak's G7 visit in Japan. And during his trip, Rishi will warn that new rules are needed to tame A1. In a dramatic shift in tone, the government will push for regulation of the technology and focus on the threats posed by automation rather than the benefits, says the newspaper. So Sunak is beginning to get alarmed. And he's at the G7, and G7, of course, is the 7 most advanced economic countries in the world who meet to discuss, meet once in a while to discuss how they might look at either potential benefits or threats. Is that he's going to say to his other 6 associates, listen, the artificial intelligence is all very well, and we're relishing the fact that it's helping us a great deal. I question that, but still. But he's going to say, look, there are inherent dangers here. We've got to be very careful about the way that we actually behave, because artificial intelligence, first of all, is going to decimate jobs, and that's on another headline in a moment. in fact, that headline is coming up in the Financial Times, where one of its headlines is BT plans to cull 55,000 jobs this decade in the most radical cuts since privatization. And the FT leads on an A1 story reporting BT is planning to make the cull and replacing some customer service staff with automation. The radical cost-cutting drive will account for 42% of the company's workforce. The FT says that the shift will make for the biggest job cuts since the company was privatized in the 1980s. So the dangers are at long last being seen. And I have been saying, and this station has been saying for a long time, that artificial intelligence, but in the form of computers, has been out of control for quite some time. And that the banks, particularly, and the credit card companies, is instead of using computers to help them, are letting computers run the country and run the company, and therefore run the company. Thank goodness they're beginning to wake up and start to take a look at this sort of thing. Why it is that governments and authority is always months after what's happening on the ground. What we on the ground know to be the case is I will never understand why that time lag is. I think it's just because we've got so many civil servants in between who don't do a day's work. The Daily Mail. Is this the start of the great AI jobs bloodbath, it says? And it also focuses on the BT cuts, asking if it's the start of a great AI job bloodbath. It said the job losses at the telecommunications giant have sparked a debate about the march of the robots, saying the rise in automation is having an effect on jobs and customer experience. It also carries a photo of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny star Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who attended the premiere for the new film in Cannes on Thursday night. Oh, I guess that was last night. Yeah, last night. The Sun. Now, it stays with celebrity. It doesn't care too much that jobs are going to be lost. It says Saturday night taken away. And Ant and Dec are going to shelve their hit show after 20 years. What is it? Ant and Dec's Saturday Night Takeaway. And the Sun says duo Ant and Dec are stepping down from TV program Saturday Night Takeaway after 20 years at the helm. The newspaper reports the pair are to rest the award-winning show after recording one more series, drawing the show to its close in 2024. It also reports that Rishi Sunak will lead the way in regulating AI and chatbots to stop them taking over the entire world. Right, okay. Now we've got The Guardian, which reports that fresh sanctions against Russia is as the Prime Minister seeks to rally support for Kiev. The Guardian also turns its attention to Rishi Sunak's plans for the G7 summit, reporting that the PM arrived in Japan with a self-declared mission to push India into showing greater support for Ukraine. Ahead of the 3-day gathering in Hiroshima, Mr. Sunak pledged to ban imports of Russian diamonds and Russian-origin copper, nickel, and aluminium. The newspaper reports it is expected that other G7 members will follow suit. In another story, the newspaper says council towns with communal heating systems are facing a 350% rise in energy bills, which is a nightmare affecting 480,000 households. Well, there you go. The energy situation is still far from resolved. The Daily Telegraph. It stays with energy, the Daily Telegraph says net zero drive will add £120 to energy bills. It says the government plans to develop hydrogen gas as part of its net zero drive, but that will add nearly £120 a year to the average household's energy bills. The scheme, which is expected to cost £3.5 billion a year between 2030 to 2040, could add £118 to household bills, and that's what the Telegraph says is the case. And now here's a lovely one. And God bless the Daily Star. It always helps us out, doesn't it? First they said vests were cool. Now Erling Haaland's made Y-fronts trendy again. The footballer of the moment has had a photograph taken where he's wearing a pair of white Y-fronts, similar to those you see here. And he said Manchester City striker Erling Haaland has made Y-front underwear for men fashionable again. The Star says the trend has received a thumbs down from the newspaper, which warns that men are trying and failing to pull off the look. Anton Deck's Saturday Night, so he goes on about Anton Deck. All right, the Daily Express. Confident Rishi, I'll be PM for years. Well, we better take our knickers off there. It says Sunak is saying that he there he is. I'll be Prime Minister for years, he says. The Express leads on the Prime Minister's G7 visit, reporting the confident Rishi Sunak says he'll be Prime Minister for years. Speaking in Hiroshima, Mr. Sunak said he backed his party to win the next general election and secure a Conservative majority. The newspaper also reports on the late Queen's funeral costs, which totaled £162 million. Wowee. Probably worth it, though. What did it generate in return? All right, the Metro is... you'll foot the bill for this. The Metro says £10 billion dirty tricks. As the Metro leads on water companies reportedly telling customers to shoulder the cost of solving the problem of sewage dumped into the rivers and seas. A move, the paper says, is a £10 billion dirty trick campaign. Companies say that modest increments to water bills for decades ahead are the only way to halve the 824 spills a day by 2030. I mean, that's horrendous. 824 spills a day. And Anglian water customers will have around £90 added to their annual bill, it says. Ooh. Right, okay. If we got our nurses still around, for once it's not about them striking. It's deeper than that. That is, once again, is immigration. Should we bring in immigrants or not? And it's the shortage of skilled people that is causing us to do that. And one of those areas is the nurses. We don't seem to have the nurses at the moment. So let's say the UK reliance on international nursing staff is at a critical level, says the Times. Since 2019, 2/3 of nursing recruits have been international, a level the government has been warned is unsustainable. The Times also leads on couples who are not married making up 1/5 of all families, making it the fastest growing kind of family unit in the UK. That's according to the Office of National Statistics. Not sure that I care, although I probably should. The Daily Mirror. Now, this is a key one because it says, "Mummy, am I dying?" And as another little boy becomes the latest victim of our country's dangerous dogs epidemic, once again, the Mirror demands those in power finally act. The Daily Mirror carries an exclusive on a horror dog attack where 6-year-old Vic Zidko was lucky to escape with his life when the family Staffordshire Bull Terrier ripped his scalp off. The newspaper reports. It warns of a dangerous dog's epidemic, asking the government to finally act and clamp down on dangerous dog attacks. Well, that's more or less the news headlines nationally. Let's just see if there are things that locally we might find of interest. Let's see. Sussex Live. Well, the pit bull attacks and kills another dog in the town. Well, that's following on from the story about the young boy. There is a pit bull, and it says. It's taking a little time to come up to this. A pit bull put down after killing a chihuahua in Crawley dog attack. 2 dogs have died after an incident in Crawley earlier this week, which saw a chihuahua being attacked by a pit bull terrier on a residential road. The police have confirmed that it responded to a report that a pit bull was attacking the chihuahua in Elman Road, with the dog sadly dying as a result of its injuries. After the incident, the pit bull was also put down. Well, that I suppose is a story that we should be following. Other news, a killer admits murdering a much-loved grandma in her own home just before Christmas. That story is it comes from Eastbourne. The killer admits murdering his much-loved Eastbourne grandma in her own home just before Christmas. And is a 60-year-old man has pleaded guilty to the murder of a much-loved grandma after stabbing her to death. Tony King appeared at Lewis Crown Court yesterday, where he pleaded guilty to murdering 68-year-old Sabrina Cooper at her home. King was reported to have stabbed her 5 times, with the wounds in her torso resulting in her death. When police and paramedics were first called to the Connaught Road scene, it was thought that she had fallen down the stairs. However, it was quickly established that she had 5 stab wounds. As I said to you, I see I see a pattern beginning to build again of a lot of what we might say very small, petty incidents. People dying here and there and being attacked there and being hit over the head and assaulted in the streets. And it's getting worse and worse and worse. Also, West Sussex Council plea after highway staff feel unsafe following abuse at work. Oh dear. The council has issued a plea to members of the public after a number of their highway staff have reported experiencing abuse while at work. In a statement issued on Wednesday, the council said it was disappointed and that it is unacceptable behaviour that will not be tolerated. They don't say what they're going to do about it, though. Well, that's what politicians are able to do. They say how awful something is, only to then not offer much in the way of solution. Brighton Beach loses a prestigious award after not meeting certain criteria. Oh, right. Apparently, he got that reward before, and so it's gone downhill. Brighton Beach loses prestigious blue flag status after not meeting certain criteria, says the headline. One of Sussex's most popular beaches has lost its blue flag status, despite having been recognised as a blue flag beach last year. Brighton Beach, which is often filled with tourists and locals alike, has not been granted a blue flag award this year, shrinking the number of Sussex beaches with the award from 4 down to 3. The Blue Flag Award, which is recognised worldwide, is given to beaches and marinas that meet certain criteria. This criteria includes environmental safety, accessibility, and educational requirements that should be both met and maintained. So there we are. That's the local news. Now, we didn't have time this morning to put together a little weather thing, so let's give it to you verbally. He said, and that didn't work much. There we go. Lewis is going to be a high of 16 degrees. It's 11 degrees right now. It says mostly cloudy, but in fact, as Richard pointed out during his program a little while ago, is that the courthouse is bathed in sunshine. So there are sunny intervals and a gentle breeze. The low temperature is 6 degrees. But we're not going to see that again. And in fact, at midnight tonight, it'll still be as warm as 9 degrees. So there you are, not bad weather. And tomorrow, Saturday, it's going to be sunny, 18 degrees. And Sunday, exactly the same. So, and then Monday, we're moving into 19 degrees. So we're in for a little stretch of a nice sunny weather. Okay. Let's now take a look at let's see. The time is 9:42. Now we're all out of kilter this morning because we did what we often say we'll do. We're flexible, and we showed that flexibility in inviting the two Bs, the two barristers, Dick and Philip, to just discuss once again a different aspect of the working of the courts. And I hope you found that interesting. And most certainly I did. Stuff that you hear and see on the television drama things, and sometimes don't know what the hell they're talking about. Well, they explained it this morning. These two are real barristers, so it's from the horse's mouth. Absolutely from the horse's mouth. Okay, what we'll do is we will just having brought the news headlines to you, we'll call it a halt for about 15 minutes, and we'll come back at 10 o'clock. And at some stage this morning, I sincerely hope that we are going to get Melissa Conti from New York to let us know what's going on over there in the Big Apple. So for a moment or two, here's a toodle pip again. How many do we deliver in the morning? How many toodle pips? Well, here's another one. Toodle, toodle, toodle pip.